Hey, Countdown to the Geeks. It's Retro Ray. We're back again. Um, I've got an awesome guest today. If you can tell from the photos in the background, it's an actor that worked on a movie back in the day. To me, stands to this time. You know, based off a comic book. But he also played in other. He played in House, X Files, Charmed, Buffy, Freddy. Um, Michael Bailey Smith is who our guest is going to be. We're going to get him in the room. Before we do, we're going to give a quick shout out to Dragons Lair Alamo Ranch for comics, everything comics and gaming that you want. This is where you want to go. If you want to talk comics, come talk to me, Jerry, Hunter, Joey. You can talk to us about comics, gaming, same thing. Hunter and Jerry, they're the men that you want to talk to. But then also, Casa, another comic book that's in convention here in San Antonio, November 15th, 2025 at the Red Oak Ballroom. You definitely want to go there. Let's not wait any longer and let's get Michael in the room. Good afternoon, good night, good or night. Good. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Oh man, it's been a crazy week, man. Crazy week. I have been busy with interviews and stuff, and I saw you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, last week was definitely an experience for sure. I've been to a lot of premieres and red carpets. When I won the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, I was a black carpet. Never, never a first a blue carpet, and secondly, never a premiere this big, this fantastic. Using that word quite a bit lately. Just everything about it was just top tier. Everything. It was really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and people, if you don't know, Michael is technically the first Ben Grimm that was portrayed in live action in the Fantastic Four movie
That's
that
right.
never got released. If
Yeah.
you guys have never seen it, go find it. There's a documentary. This movie was ahead of its time. The suits were awesome. Thing's suit was awesome. Special effects, we were ahead of its time. We weren't there yet. But the premise of the thing was awesome. Doctor Doom, to me, out of all the Fantastic Four movies, that suit is the most accurate for the comics, to me. But you playing the character, I mean, we're going to go to it. We're going to start from the beginning, sir. You went from playing college ball, getting drafted by the Cowboys of all people in Texas. And you were there for a little bit. You hurt your leg, but from there you transitioned to acting. What was that decision to say I'm going from this to this? Where did that take
So
place?
so let's back up a little bit. I'll back
Okay,
up a little bit more.
okay.
So I'm the oldest of 6 kids, right? So
Okay.
I did. My dad was in the Air Force. We've traveled all around the country. I
Hmm.
didn't spend more than maybe 2 or 3 years in any one spot, right? California, Las Vegas, Michigan, everywhere, Washington
Oh, wow.
State, just everywhere. Don't really have a hometown. So when I got to be my end of my sophomore year, my dad got stationed in Iran,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, so went in Tehran, the capital. So back in the 70s, that I'm an older dude than you. The 70s, the U.S. got along great with Iran. It was a Shah running the show, and so I went there we all went there as a family, right? And stayed in Iran. We had a little villa that they gave us. I don't really have, you think a villa is something huge. No, it was a house with a wall around it. It's pretty much what it is. Um, and yeah, so I went to high school there, to Toronto American School. I finished my junior year and senior year there.
Oh,
I
wow.
graduated high school there, and I in the embassy. And my superintendent was one of the 52 American hostages, which is kind of
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
I went in the 82nd Airborne, so I wanted to go and play college football. That was my whole goal.
Oh,
Being
wow.
the oldest of 6 kids, my parents were like, we can't afford that. So how can I get there? I said, well, I could join the military. My dad was already in the military, but I wanted something the shortest amount of time, but still kind of hardcore, that I could get the GI Bill and go to play college football. So I joined the Army. So I wanted to do something hardcore. So I did 82nd Airborne Division as a paratrooper, stationed at Fort Bragg, and did that for 3 years. I got out, and I had a chance to go to Notre Dame. The
Oh,
chaplain
wow.
of my unit was played as All-American at Kansas State. He was this big, smoking, drinking, cussing chaplain with big old guns hanging out of his uniform. Like, hey, Corporal Smith, I understand you want to play football. I said, yes, sir. He's going, all right, make some phone calls. He calls me back in his office about a couple months later. He goes, you're going to Notre Dame. So I was all set to go to Notre Dame. They all knew about me. I was going to go to Notre Dame, no situation. And then about 6 months before I got out, he says, you know, if you go to a big school, you probably won't play right off the bat. But we're going to go to like a mid-major school, something that's big, but not too big, where you can play right off the bat. He goes, where are you from? I said, I'm from Michigan, sir. He goes, well, Michigan and Michigan State, Sue, is not, you know, too big. He goes, but I understand Eastern hasn't won a game in a while. I need some help. Let me call the head coach. So next thing you know, that's where I went. And I got ready for my freshman year, then started the next 4 years. And to the point where I was a preseason All-American, hurt my knee my senior year. That hurt my draft status. We finished the season and got my knee operated on. Back then, it was like doctors with, you know, sticks and stones. There wasn't anything. So they did like a hatchet job of my knee. I got it enough to get to camp. I didn't get drafted. I was a free agent there because of my knee.
Okay.
But I got there and I was there for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that, and tweaked my knee in a drill, re-injured it, and they let me go. So I went back, finished my degree in computer science, and believe it or not, I chased a girl out to San Diego thinking this is it. That lasted about a month. She dumped me. So I befriended this guy in San Diego called Steve Henneberry, who later, if you look him up, he is one of the famous American gladiators, the Tower. So he was in bodybuilding, and I got into bodybuilding by then. And he played also Conan up at Universal Studios. So we'd go up to Los Angeles every so often. And I, because of my computer science degree, I was debugging software at Xerox.
Oh, wow.
I tell you right now, I am not a cubicle guy. I respect anybody that can stay in a cubicle. I tried. I did it for 6 months going, this is not me. And then he goes, Steve goes, I'm going up to Los Angeles, read this movie called Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 5, playing a bigger version of Freddy Krueger. Why don't you come with me? I said, well, I'll ask my boss. So I went and asked her, and she goes, no, I can't give you the day off. I go, well, I quit anyway. So I quit my job on the day, hopped in the car. We went up to Los Angeles, went up to 5, and then went on the 101, and then got off on Hollywood. And I remember the trip, and I remember the conversations we had. He's still a really good friend of mine, and a really, really good friend. And I'm really happy for his success. He's great American Gladiator. He did a TV show, did some commercials, and now he's a big-time real estate mogul in Los Angeles, which was pretty awesome. Nice. But so we went in. I went to audition on Hollywood and Vine. You can't get any more Hollywood than that. I could see the Brown Derby, the Walk of Fame, all these things. And we went in, and he auditioned, and they asked me if I want to audition, and I said okay. So I went in and met this director named Stephen Hopkins, who later became a pretty well-known director. Wow. He's like, so Michael, have you seen those Freddy Krueger movies? And I'm like, yeah, of course. I need someone big and scary, then laugh. Listen, can you give me a big laugh like Freddy Krueger? So I laughed this big laugh. Like that. And he went, that's fucking awesome. Guess what? You got yourself a job. That's how it happened. And so next thing you know, I am on the set I'm in the trailer with Robert Englund. He's teaching me about, we're talking about Hollywood. We're talking about life, and we're talking about Freddy Krueger. Wow. I'm like, this is crazy. I wasn't in the union. They Taft-Hartley'd me or made me SAG eligible. They gave me 3 lines: faster than a bastard maniac, more powerful than local Batman. It's Super Freddy. Did a whole situation. So all that. And it was great. And I went, wow, this is what I want to do. So I moved up from San Diego to Los Angeles, got a crappy apartment, slept on the floor for a while with some weird dude. And I remember putting on my mirror in my crappy bathroom. It said Michael Bailey Smith, Hollywood's new leading man. And that's what I wanted to be. Right. But being 6'4", 275 pounds, 9% body fat, big old muscular dude. I'll show you a picture of what I look like. about 2 weeks before the Dallas Cowboys. Let me show you that picture. You're going to like, holy crap. This is what I look like.
Oh, wow.
That's 2 weeks for the Dallas Cowboys. So, yeah.
Holy crap.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's that. So so I kind of looked the same size when I did so I did the same thing. I was a pretty big dude. And then so yeah. So when I got in front of that, I said, crap, this is what I want to do. So I put that on my mirror, and every night, just like I trained for football, I did scene study, cold reading, improv, audition technique, theater. Every night I was doing something. And then other big guys would just be big guys and like, rah, 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 right? But for me, I wanted to build characters, and that's led to me becoming an actor. And so that's what I did. After Nightmare on Elm Street, I did a couple small things. Like with HBO, I did a spoof on The Flash, which is, I still have a tape of that somewhere. I've done some couple commercials. And then I did Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas. This is 1990s. And I did Silk Stockings. And when I was doing Silk Stockings, I got this call for the Fantastic Four. And I knew all about it because I'm a big fan of Robert E. Howard and the Conan the Barbarian books. I've read all of them. I know everything about that. So because I was a skinny guy when I grew up and being picked on and beat up. So I used going to the gym and sports to get that earn that respect. And so, yeah, I got that call. I understood who the Fantastic Four was, but when you go to Roger Corman's studio, which is a low budget studio film, it's not 20th century. I didn't know the difference. I just started out at acting. I didn't know. I had been only doing it for a few years, right? It just was a movie part. I didn't care what it was.
Yeah.
And so so I read, and it was like I had a day off from filming, and I read, and then they called me back like on a Saturday. I went back on Saturday to read again with the director, and he called me in some producers, and I ended up getting it. And I've done over 100 movies and TV shows, and then I've did additional stuff like commercials and video games. But that character, Ben Grimm, was the closest just to me. Natural guy. I don't have to do much acting. I just showed up. It's funny when we got, we were in the new one, the 2025 one. This one just came out recently. We went to the blue carpet, not the red carpet, the blue carpet. I called Oli, the director. I said, I feel really bad that Joseph's not in this. He's not a part of this. He played Dr. Doom, and he needs to be a part of that. Or you. It wasn't for you guys. It's never to happen. And he said, you are so much like Ben Grimm. That's what Ben Grimm would do. He would worry about everybody. He's a big protector. He wants to worry about everybody. That's what he does. And that's how I was. I didn't have to act at all. Playing all the bad guys. Yeah. It's like when I played football, you flip on the switch. When you put on a helmet, you're going to kill everybody. When you take the helmet off, you're back to being a nice guy. And so, that was different. But Ben Grimm, he's a great guy. What's interesting about that movie, Ben Grimm went to Empire State and he played football there. He was also, I think, aerospace engineer. I was a computer science major. I went to Eastern Michigan. The Letterman jacket that I wore, and I have a picture of it here. You can see right there. That's my Letterman jacket from Eastern Michigan. It has a big E on it. It fits perfect.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. Another thing, too, is that you can see there is the Ben Grimm, and you see he's actually standing on a box. He's about 5. So Carl Carvalho is the gentleman stuntman who was in a suit. When I got the role, I first said, hey, I get to be in a suit, right? Like, but the thing, no, we've already done that. So what? I said, we did that about 6 months ago. We had to start the suit building, and we didn't hire Ben Grimm yet. And I'm like, and he goes, plus our experience with actors in suits doesn't work out very well. I go, I was in the 82nd Airborne Division of the paratrooper, strapped to 100 pounds of crap on me when I jump out of my airplane. Been in some worse crap. I said, or in the football, whatever. I said, I could have handled a suit. But I have to tell you, I was just really super disappointed about that. But I have to tell you, it was for a reason. It built a long-lasting friendship with me and Carl.
Nice.
Carl's an excellent human being. Right now, he's struggling with some health issues, his back and things like
Oh,
that, and he can hardly walk right now. And he's working on getting his be able to walk again. And so yeah, he's in a tough spot, but he'll fight through. He's a tough dude. But that guy's Hollywood royalty when it comes to stunt. He was in. You ever seen Casino? The guy who gets his head crushed in the
oh
vice.
yeah.
That's him. Or do you remember the movie called Far and Away with Tom Cruise? When Tom Cruise is like, oh, come on, Scrapper, and he fights that big Irish guy. It's
Yeah.
Charles Savolio.
Oh,
He's been in
dang.
tons and tons of stuff. Just well, and yeah, so he and I go way back. He has coordinated things for me, other things that I've done. He's like
Wow.
I've done fights and things like I'm an actor who is pretty physical. I'm a pretty good martial artist, and so I can do pretty good fight scenes and all that stuff. So yeah, good stuff. So anyway, that was the Fantastic Four. So okay, I'll
Well,
stop talking.
well, I was gonna bring a photo up. I have this photo, of course, where you're also
Yeah,
flexing in the back.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So you, of course, you didn't get to wear a suit there, but you wore the suit here. How would okay? Now I have
but
to
that's not a
ask.
suit. That's a shirt.
So that's your body in there.
Yep, that's my body. There's
Oh,
no. That's me. That's how big I was.
wow, dude. Oh, wow, that is so crazy. Yeah, I mean, this was.
Yeah, that's all me. That's all me. And the crazy thing about that, the lightning bolt that goes across the chest,
Uh-huh.
and pull that the
Okay.
first one back up again. If you can, right there. That lightning bolt was by accident. Wasn't supposed to be there. First, there was no lightning bolt at all. And then what happened is they had squibs on my shirt. And the first time they did it, the squibs went off and caught the shirt on fire. So they
Oh,
didn't have another one of these shirts. So they put a big old black lightning bolt across it to cover up the holes.
oh, wow. Now that scene, this whole scene in general, guys, you have to have watched this by now. Was an awesome fight scene. I mean, this guy was with his guns and everything like that. I mean, it was a great fight scene. I love this part of it. I've always been a Nightmare on Elm Street fan. The first one, as a kid watching it, scared the crap out of me.
Me too. Me too.
I couldn't like. I had trouble sleeping at night because I was like, "Is he going to come in my dreams?" That was a young kid, but even that, for you to get to portray that, so Fantastic Four. Like I said, it was ahead of its time. You guys did a great job on it. Um, and then from there, before we get to the blue carpet, you know, it's kind of a small world the way this world is. You get hired, you work on charm, you play a demon. Um, yeah, and then, but if you're not a charm fan and you have not watched Charmed, go watch it. I reason why I watched it, my wife got me into it. That's why I know about it. But I love Piper. That's my favorite. But right now we're gonna pull this picture. I mean, Doctor Doom and the Thing met in Charmed. How was this like? You had mentioned before, uh, this was pre, uh, so he got it when you were there. Uh, what was you had mentioned? What was it that you had sent to him? Like, I was the original, and what was his
Yeah.
response?
So after he got cast because that was in the early 2000s that we did Charm. At least that couple seasons. And yeah. So what was the first one? 2005 or what was he in? Or the ones later? I forgot which one. But I heard he got Dr. Doom, and I called him, or I sent him an email, or I forgot what I did. But anyway, I told him, I said, I was in the original. He's like, original? What are you talking about? I said, yeah, I was in the original Fantastic Four. He goes, what? So anyway, yeah, so we had a little bit of history. Also, it's kind of funny. There's a TV show called She Spies.
Uh-huh.
And I did an episode of She Spies where I played this bad guy who has a condition that I'm being tied up by all three of the girls, right? And there's his ex-wife was an actress. I forgot it. Brooke Burns. Brooke Burns is her name. Blonde. You should look her up. So,
Okay.
and she guest starred on the show too. And so they tie me up, and they're trying to get me to talk, and I won't talk. And then she walks in as this, ultimate spy, and says, "I know how to get him to talk." And she starts pounding me with the phone book, like bam, bam. I'm going back and forth, bam, bam. And then she goes, "Okay." And then she lays on a big kiss, bam, big old kiss on me. And then I started getting like really upset, and I start convulsing, and then I tell them, because they're holding the what do you call it, the respirator tubey thing, to help me breathe. They hold that, to save me, but to get me to talk first. So anyway, I teased him about that too. So I kissed your ex-wife. How did it taste? So anyway, so yeah, he is a great guy. We've had some really great conversations, he and I, late at night, just us two talking. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, it bites that we lost him right before the movie came out, because I'm pretty sure it would have been cool.
Oh, if he would have showed up, oh man, that would have been great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pull photos up of the blue carpet. Of course, there's Ben standing the way Ben Grimm would with his Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That, to me, that was a great team, great actors. And Rebecca is still acting as well, so
Rebecca and Alex are both still acting.
Yeah, she came out as Supergirl too as well, recently. And this is another one I was going to post up here in front of the Fantastic Four car. That was freaking awesome. So the one thing I was going to ask, so there's a video that shows you and Ebon. He approached you. You approached him. What? Okay, that's what it was, a video. So what did you say, or what was the?
I said, "Hey," I said, "This basically, hey, Evan." I said, "I don't know." I said, "My name is Michael Bailey Smith." I said, I was in the 1994 version of the Fantastic Four. I said, I played Ben Grimm and the thing. And he goes, "Oh, okay, wow." And we shook hands. And then I said, I have to tell you that I really enjoy your work and have tremendous respect for you, because he is a hell of an actor. He is a great actor. What he does on The Bear and all the other things he's done, I mean, he's just a really great actor. That guy is going to be in Hollywood for a long, long time. So, yeah.
So getting back to it, so once you did the blue carpet, you go in. Well, before, let's back up. So you get the call, like they call you and say, "Hey, we want to bring you guys in to do a cameo."
Yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah. So it was in April. It was right after my first year anniversary. I just got married a year ago to a beautiful lady. And let me show you that picture of that.
Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, the light. Oh, there we go.
Can you see that?
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Nice.
My wife is gorgeous. She is just I definitely married up, that's for sure. But yeah, so I get this text from Rebecca saying, "Hey, Grant Curtis from Marvel Studios is gonna be calling you." I'm like, what? My brain just went crazy. I wrote a story about this on Facebook. I also posted on LinkedIn too, just kind of my experience.
Wow.
And yeah, it was here. Do you mind? I can read this story to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's better. Yeah, I mean, you posted it, but to hear it from your voice, to me, that is more emotional too.
Let me real quick. Let me just do this for you.
Yeah, I mean, when I found out, I was so stoked. My wife's like, I was excited, and she's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "The original are gonna make a cameo in the movie," and she's like, "For real?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and of course, she doesn't know about the original movie, so I found it on YouTube, showed it to her, and I was like, it was ahead of its time. But if you're a geek, you would take it in, because we didn't have this type of live action stuff for us.
Yeah, I agree. Here we go. Read this to you. That's not it. Oh, also do I got noticed as one of the best dressed. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Hey everyone, I'm gonna read it over here if you don't mind. Hey everyone, By now, you've probably heard the news. The cast of the original Fantastic Four from the 1994 made a cameo in the new The Fantastic Four First Steps, releasing this Friday, the 25th. And wow, do I have a story to tell you. As many of you know, I played Ben Grimm and provided the voice for the Thing in the original 1994 version. It was a film made with love, long nights, and big dreams. But sadly, the executive producer who owned the rights never intended for it to be released, so it was shelved. We were devastated. Over time, bootleg copies of our film spread through conventions, fan circles, and even YouTube, slowly building a passionate following. Then in 2015, the documentary Doomed, the untold story of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four, created by the talented Marty Langford, brought our story into spotlight and helped grow our community even further. In recent years, Joseph Culp, who played Doctor Doom, helped lead the movement to get our film officially released. I proudly signed the petition and joined the fight like so many of you. But still, nothing. No release, no acknowledgement. 3 big budget Fantastic Four films came and went, and no one recognized our version. It was as if it never existed. Until now. Last April, out of the blue, I received a text from Rebecca Staub, the incredible actress who played Sue Storm, saying that Greg Curtis, one of the producers from Marvel, would be calling me. As I read her message, my brain started spinning. Wait, they're doing a new F4 film, and Marvel wants to talk to me? And then my phone rang. Wow. It was Grant calling from London. He told me what happened to our film was not right. He said they'd watched it several times and truly understood what it was about, family. He loved the dynamic between characters, especially between me and Ben Grimm and Alex Hyde White, Reed Richards, and hoped he could honor that spirit in the new film. Wow. Then he said something I'll never forget. They wanted our Fantastic Four family in their movie. My mind was blown. I hung up my phone. I turned to my wife, Paige, and said, well, it looks like we're going to Hollywood. What following was a whirlwind. Marvel Studios contacted me for wardrobe, contracts, travel dates, and shooting dates. Wow. Then it came to the NDA, which was intense. Paige and I both had to sign it. No talking, no hints, nothing. I even received a text from Marvel Security reminding me, do not discuss anything, period. Wow. I so badly wanted to tell the world, especially Oli, our director, and Joseph, but I couldn't. Now, I've been out of the business for a while, so it was exciting to be back in the mix. On our first day in LA, I had to visit the Marvel's wardrobe department. And let me tell you, it was like stepping into Marvel's museum. There was costumes, posters, and props, and it was incredible. The next day we were on the set. I was lucky enough to get clearance to bring Paige, and she never knew me before my Hollywood years, so it was great to see her eyes light up with excitement. Everyone welcomed us with open arms, and it felt like we were the long-lost relatives that have finally come home. When it came to the film, they lined us up, like the Magnificent Seven, or should I say, the Fantastic Four, and walked shoulder to shoulder, about 100 yards to the set. Picture it, me, Ben Grimm, next to Alex Hyde White, Reed Richards, next to Rebecca Staub, Sue Storm, next to Jay Underwood, Johnny Storm, walking side by side as the crew clapped and cheered. It was a true homecoming. Marvel Studios has finally acknowledged our film. After filming, we did on-camera interviews for behind-the-scenes content. Then the four of us and our families went out to dinner, sharing stories, laughing, and celebrating. It was an incredible night. Just yesterday, I was interviewed by Vanity Fair, and they asked me why we all stayed so close. I told them it was because Oli Sassoni, our director, casted people who were those characters. From the beginning, we bonded as a family. And when our film was shelved, that bond only grew stronger as we fought to have it seen. We attended the premiere this past Monday, the 21st. I've been to many premieres in my 30-year career, but nothing like this. Blue carpet, skywriters painting the F4 logo in the sky, a drone show at night, a full orchestra performing the score, A-list actors and celebrities, F4 cosplayers. Even the popcorn tubs were branded F4 with F4 logos. And when people realized who we were, they loved it. Even the new cast was gracious and supportive. I got a chance to introduce myself to Evan Bachrach, the new Ben Grimm, and I told him who I was and how I admired his work. He was humble, kind, and a class act. During our premiere, it hit me. Our cameos weren't about us four. It was about Marvel Studios finally saying thank you to everyone who helped bring our version to life. And then I list everybody from Oli Sassoni to Craig Nubius, who was the screenwriter, to Mark Sykes, who casted us, to Glenn Garland, who edited the film with Oli, to Eric and David Wirtz, who were that spent their own money doing the score out of their own pocket, to Mari Langford, who did the documentary, to Carl Soalio, who wore the Thing suit, to Joseph Culp, who played Dr. Doom, Ian Trigger, and George Gaines, who have since passed away, Kat Green, who played Alicia Masters, and to every crew member, castmate, and supporter who gave their heart to that film. Now, none of this would have happened without Rebecca Staub. She and her manager reached out to Marvel's casting team, Sarah Finn and Molly Doyle, and pitched the idea that got the ball rolling. So thank you, Rebecca. You are incredible. And also a heartfelt thank you to the executive producers, Ken Fergie, Grant Curtis, Louis Esposito, director Mark Shankman, co-director, co-producer Mitch Bell, associate producer Nick Pippin, and the entire Marvel Studios team for recognizing our Fantastic Four family's contribution to the Marvel universe. And how I always say, you gotta love Hollywood. So that's what I posted on Facebook a while ago. I did it on LinkedIn too. So I got 278 comments. So and 87 shares. So anyway, that's the story right there.
Dude, and it was, to me, for us people who are the fans, you know. And for me, guys, if you didn't know, spoilers, we are on Monday night. If you haven't watched it, there's 2 cameos if you miss it. You
Right
get
at
to
the beginning, first 5 minutes. Don't miss it.
Yes. Yeah, so don't miss it. How was it getting into the suits? And of course, mind you, you're in a green screen, you don't know what's going on, but how was it, like you said, that you walked, everybody was applauding? I mean, how was it once you were done? Like, you were done filming your scene, you're walking back. Like you said, y'all went out to eat. I mean,
yeah, it was
did you get goosebumps?
Not really. It's work. I've been out of the business. The last movie I did was 2019. So and so I've been out. I've got it in the business. I have my own company.
Wow.
I'm doing very well and very successful. I've been very blessed. But
Nice.
Again, none of this comes with hard work. Without hard work. I was talking to my wife about this. My wife has launched her own company, right? It's called Inseam Saver, and it's right here. That's her product. Anyway, it's a great little product. It's nothing like on the market. It's going to revolutionize a lot of saving your clothes and all that stuff like that. She went to college at New York Institute of Design. Very smart lady. Wow. And like the premiere, it's the iceberg effect. You know what that's about, right? So when an iceberg sets in the ocean, you only see the top of it. It's got nice snow and it looks all nice and pretty. You go underneath, there's this huge part that's menacing and it's all ice and it's floating in. No one ever sees that part. They just see the nice part on top.
Yeah.
Same thing going to premiere, right? You only see the part where nice outfits and there's this, that, and whatever, press. They don't see the part where like me, for instance, is standing there. It's 2:30 in the morning. It's 30 degrees out. I am shirtless. I have blood on my chest. I have it running down into my butt crack, into my crotch, and it's freezing and I'm sticky and I'm miserable and I'm standing there getting a shot set up, ready to do something. Or the times I get punched in the face by Jean-Claude Van Damme or somebody else, or just the crap beat out of you, or this or that, or how many no's you get along the way until you get a yes. Or they don't tell you they're not good looking enough, you're not tall enough, you don't have it, you're not a good actor, you suck, whatever it is, all those things. And then you get the yeses that make up for everything. So that's the iceberg effect. When you go to the premiere, it's all glamorous and acrobatic. There's a lot of stuff. All the crew people that spend hours and hours and hours, a lot longer than most actors, or
True.
or the writers that sent, like I write now, and the hours you spend doing that, and you're stressing over a word on a page, or the director who has to storyboard everything and all that stuff. So, and the producers, right? They have to get the funding and put everything together and coordinate everything.
Yeah.
I learned something when our film got shelved. It's not always about the art. It's not always about the craft and the artistry and just everything like that. They don't call it show friends. They call it show business. It's about making money. Yeah, there's going to be all this other stuff there, but it's about, I don't care how artistic you are or talented you are, if your film don't make money, guess what? Probably not going to do another one, or really hard to do one. And so, but things have changed since then, right? With the internet, AI, the abilities to be able to do things on your smartphone, right? All those things like that. You can make your own movies and stuff. So, but still, it's show business, and I learned a hard lesson after Fantastic Four, for sure.
I mean, it had to be rough. I mean, it's kind of like, I understand what you mean. It's like right now, Fantastic Four was ahead of its time. Yeah, I mentioned this before in other interviews where I wanted to do this podcast where I interview the people behind the scenes in the industry, from the comic world, the artists, the writers, the special effects people, the stunt people, because they're the ones, like you said, they're the ones that are spending the long hours. They're the ones that are having to practice those scenes over and over, or the takes of getting hit in the face, or the fight scenes. And at the end, we see the final picture that looks all pretty, but we don't see how long it took to make those scenes, put it together.
Yep.
And when I wanted to do this podcast back in the day, Kevin Smith is, and I'm going to say it because his was the first podcast I ever listened to, and I wanted to do it back then. This was in 2004, 2005, and the owner of my comic book store was like, "Oh, no one listens to podcasts." When people tell you no, you have to find that just to keep going. You know what I mean? To take those no's and keep on fighting it, even though you may, I'm not going to do it. And then you wait 5 years and you say, I'm going to do it now, because that itch is there and telling you, do what you love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what you were doing. You were doing what you loved and doing acting. And like you said, you practiced that craft. You put your name on your mirror and saying, I'm going to be lead actor. I'm going to be doing this. And you put in the hard work to get you where you wanted to get to.
Yeah, I didn't become Michael Bailey Smith's Hollywood New Leading Man. What I did become is Michael Bailey Smith, working actor. So that's what I became, which is even, I think even better, because I got to play so many different roles. I did so many movies and TV shows. I got to work with some incredible people. And it was really a blessing. And I do not take it for granted. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, the work's paid off, sir. I'm happy to see that you got, for the hard work you did in, Fantastic Four back then. Then you guys coming out in this movie, I loved it. I loved what they did with it. It's where it should have been, because the technology's there for it. Now CGI, no suits. Back then it was, courts, hard suits. Now I was going to ask about that, because you've had to wear makeup and prosthetics.
Yeah.
Is that the hard part of doing the acting? Sitting in the chairs and having to do all that?
Yeah, but it's like anything, right? It's just, to me, I know I've seen some actors flip out and do whatever, right? But for me, I know what I'm getting into. I signed up for this. It's not like, hey, by the way, you got this role as you get on set, but now you're gonna be in prosthetics. What? I'm not ready. No, going in what you're gonna have to be doing. And I've seen actors flip out over it. I've seen actors get fired over it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so, but it's kind of because normally, like The Hills Have Eyes, that character took, and you've seen that character, Hills Have Eyes. So that character, that took probably 3.5 to 4 every day.
Wow.
Um,
So that's just putting it on and taking it off, or just putting it on?
Putting it on. Off takes probably an hour and a half.
Wow. So out of 8 hours, you're already spending 6 just
Oh
on
yeah.
and off.
Oh yeah. And then you're the first one there before even the crew there. Yeah, and you're probably the last one to leave. Probably the last ones to leave. So it's nice to get some overtime. But yeah, I remember one time doing Charmed, I had to go home with it on as Belthazor. I'm riding. It's like 11 or 12 at night. I'm driving middle of Los Angeles. I pull up to an intersection and there's like these dudes like they look over at me and they go, "Dude, man, it's not even Halloween yet." And I'm like, yeah, that kind of thing. So it's kind of cool.
So you had to go home. So you had to go home with it, but then you couldn't even take it off still, or you could take it
No,
off
no, I had
at
to
home.
go home and sleep with it on and come back in the morning, and then they just touched it up, and I went right into first shot of the day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
Dang.
That was in Charmed. Yeah, I played. That's why, because I've done like 4 different characters on that, 4 or 5 different characters on that show. So that's the Belthazor done. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, to me, that was my favorite show. Me and my wife, when we went to California, um, so she's a Buffy fan too. So we went to the Buffy school. Then, of course, I'm a Back to the Future fan. So I went to the Doc Brown's house and
Uh-huh.
then Marty's house. And then we went to the Charms house and we parked in the front and took
Wow.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Charm. Like when me and my wife met, we introduced each other to stuff that we didn't watch. I didn't watch Angel. I didn't watch Buffy. She didn't know about, like, the Back to the Futures and stuff like that. So I introduced her to my movies. She introduced me to her shows, and then we just kind of went from there. And then I fell in love with the shows. So that's why when I saw you played it, Balthazar as well, and I was like, man, this is so crazy. I get to talk
I
to
had
him.
Buffy too, so I did Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy too. Yeah, you did Buffy too.
I played
And
Tall.
so, okay, that's one of the questions I was going to ask. That's one of the questions I was going to ask. With the reboot coming, and if you were to get that text or phone call like you did for Fantastic Four, would you? And they ask you, can you reprise your role as a monster or come back and be
Yeah, I'll do
a
it.
villain? Would
Yeah,
you,
and Heartbeat. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Yeah,
dude?
because my business now it's just not for a living. It's just to go to have some fun, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
and I bring my wife with me, and she get to hang out and see what's going on and stuff like that. So yeah, that'd be
That
good.
would be cool. I would love to see that because, like you said, you have the height, the body. They're going to introduce new monsters. They're going to introduce,
Yeah,
so it's going to be to me, they're filming the pilot now, or they're working on the pilot, whatever. But the fan base is there. The younger generations that didn't know about it now, just like the generation of fans that didn't know about the Fantastic Four that you were in, are jumping on now and learning about it.
yeah,
And it's just it's coming to its time, and
yeah.
it's going to continue.
I seem like let me just check here for a second. I've been getting a lot of people following me on Instagram. So how many have I got now?
Yeah, I mean that's because, dude, like I said, you guys were the Fantastic Four. Your suits were the closest to the comic book, you know, that we as kids who read it, you know, and the way you portrayed Ben Grimm, the way I saw Ben Grimm, and I felt like I was Ben Grimm because I was always a big kid, so I always felt out of ordinary. People would pick on me because I looked funny and stuff like that. So I could relate to Ben Grimm, and that's kind of where I would see myself sometimes. And that's the same thing. Stan Lee stated that that's what he created him because he was, you know, a creature. That he had to learn how to live with the way he looked now, and
Yeah.
and all that.
Did I tell you this that because I just did another interview a little while ago. Getting confused on which was I tell, but I when I was on the set, have I told you this? But I was on the set for doing Fantastic Four. We're at the Baxter Building, which is downtown Los Angeles.
Oh wow.
It's the part where I bump into Legis Masters and I knock the statue over, and then Alex is with me, Reed Richards, and we were getting ready for that shot. Stan Lee was on the set, and he walked up to me and he says, "Michael, I have to tell you, because you are what I envisioned when I created Ben Grimm." And
Wow.
I'm like, "Wow, thank you." I said, "I appreciate that." I didn't really at the time understand the gravity of all that, but it was kind of cool. I do now. It's a yeah. So good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's a character, and when he talks about when he created these characters, he was trying to create it where people can relate to these characters, like Ben and
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and because he wanted people to understand that normal people could get special powers if it were to ever happen, or some form of fashion like that. And as geeks, comics helped the younger generation, you know, get into stuff, and that's kind of what I was. Comics was my thing to help me learn how to read. So that was my introduction to
Well,
comics.
the other thing too is that I, for as the success I have and whatever, I mean, I grew up being picked on and beat up severely. I mean, I had to find new ways to the bus back in junior high
Oh wow.
and in the beginning of high school. I mean, I it was bad, and and so and a lot of it I do because my ears they stuck way out, like way out. I got my ears pinned like when I first started acting. I got my ears pinned, but no one hardly
Oh,
knows that. Yeah, I got a
oh
little.
wow.
So they used to be stuck out way out here like this, way out there, and they pinned them back. But
Wow.
anyway, but um, yeah. So um, I was picked on a lot because of my looks, and I was shy, and I had like a bowl haircut back in the day, and my dad was in the Air Force, and so we had to. I didn't couldn't grow long hair. This is in the '70s. Everybody had long hair, not me. And so um, yeah, and so I can relate to Ben Grimm a little bit, right? So how he's the outcast. Everybody else kind of is normal, and he's the one who's covered in, he's a rock.
Yeah.
So
And that's the thing. It was like, as kids, so my way of dealing with that was comics, watching TV, watching movies. I would stay inside, and that was my getaway. Yours was the gym. You would go work out.
mhm.
So, that was the premise, and that's where my relationship, to feel like Ben. But and every character, I guess every character I read in comics, there's some piece that you can feel attached to a certain character. And that's why I love about comics. Um,
I bet
and
you
it,
Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, when they created their, these characters, they probably, when they were younger, maybe they were picked on and beat up too, and they use this way as their outlet. I don't know. I don't know what they're, but I think a lot of times that manifests, and it's funny. I remember, I think when I told you that, I did my freshman and sophomore year in Oscoda, Michigan.
yeah.
My dad was stationed at Wurtsmith Air Force Base, and so that's where the high school is at. So we'd go there again, junior high, and then high school, part of high school, and there was this one particular gentleman, call him a gentleman, person, piece of crap, who was my nemesis. Right, he was the guy who just always found a way to beat on me or make fun of me or whatever it was. And I remember after a game at Eastern, we had won, and the locker room was down this ramp. And so when you walk up, I was walking up the ramp, and this is like my junior year, I think junior year. And I was like already getting all this notice from all the NFL teams and all this thing. They were scouts at every game and things like that. And I remember walking up and people cheering for me and things like that. And I walk, and there's this guy standing there, and he goes, "Mike Smith?" And I stopped and looked at him. I remember who it was. It was that guy from high school. He's like, "Yeah." And I listen, inside of me, I wanted to freaking just swallow this dude and just, freaking kill him. But I just played it cool, like James Bond. And I just said, "Yeah." I said, he goes, "Hey," and I'm not going to mention the guy's name. And, and I said, "Yeah, okay. Yeah, from Oscoda High School." I said, "Yeah." And he had a beer belly, balding, and a UAW jacket on, which is fine. That part's fine. But anyway, just balding. It's kind of, whatever. He had some fat girlfriend or wife, whatever it was. And I'm just like, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "I remember." And he goes, "Hey man, so like you're this thing now, like, how did this happen? I don't understand it." I'm like, "All right, see you later." And I just walked off. And I wanted so bad to turn around and go, give him the finger salute. "Fuck you," whatever. "I'll be kick your ass, punk ass bitch," whatever. But I couldn't do that.
No,
So
but he pretty much is like, he created you. He made
He
you who you
did.
were.
I have to tell you, and the thing is, and here's the thing. Maybe a lot of people can relate to this. I can, for sure. Is that so? When my dad gets stationed in Iran, I'm thinking to myself, this is a chance for me to start over. Get rid of this black cape that's on me, or black wet
Cloud.
towel that's on me. I can't get off
Yeah.
of being picked on or whatever. I'm going to go to this other school, in Iran. It's an American school. I'm going to go there. I'm going to be different. Dude, I have to tell you, it followed me. I don't know how. I showed up at the first basketball game, a pickup game at basketball. Hey, look at that stretch. Look at your chicken chest. They call me, Chicken Man, because I had a bony, because I have a barrel chest and this bony chest. And I just started all over. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get rid of this? And then, so anyway.
No, I'm right there with you, boss. Same thing. It seems like either people are jealous of us for some reason that we didn't do anything to them, and we're just being ourselves. But and I think it gives us it's made me more tough skinned, and made me realize, you know what, I'm not here for you. I'm here for me, and I'm gonna do what's best for me, and I can care less what you think about me. But back then, when we're younger, that's all we think about. Is like, what
Yep.
people think about us. As we got older, we realized, you know what? I'm gonna do something. I'm not gonna let you bother me anymore. You're not gonna waste in my head.
Well, the thing is that people come up to me and say, "How did you achieve all these things that you've achieved in your life?" Right?
Yeah.
Military, college football, got to the Cowboys camp, active for 30 years, won some awards, got people with tattoos, whatever of me, and action figures, and go off in business and successful, doing that. And how does that happen? And I tell this to my boys, and I say a couple things. I first say, listen, most people in this world are going to be average. They're just going to be average. And that's good. That's okay. But most people, it's like in a classroom, you're going to have most people in that classroom are going to get a C in life, right? Average job, average life, average this, average that, everything. And they might be happy with it. There's others that are going to shoot for higher than that. I said, so if you're going to shoot, whoever you are, shoot for the A+ in life. What does that mean? That means set your freaking goals high, so high you don't want to tell anybody because you're afraid they're going to laugh at you. That's how high you want to be. Your podcast, I want to make my podcast so great, I'm going to freaking give Joe Rogan a run for his money, right? I want to be better than Joe Rogan, whatever, right? That's what you do. The same thing when they hire a coach to be in the NFL. If I ever heard a coach say, well, we just want to make it to the playoffs, I would fire you in 2 seconds. No, we don't get to the playoffs. We want to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
That's what you want to do. Same thing when I went to the Cowboys. They didn't bring me there to make the team the same or worse. They brought me to get them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So in life, shoot for the A+. Set your goals high and work your ass off to get there. And then while you're doing that, there's a trick to this. The trick is whenever you're asked to do something at work or whatever it is, do a little more than you're asked. Do a little bit more. Because most people are going to do just enough to get by. Here's a good example of that. My younger son, who's now a coach at UNT, University of North Texas, he was playing football in a JUCO in California. Blew out his back. He had offers everywhere. Going in after his first year, going in his second year in JUCO, tight end, big dude, fast, all those things, talented. And he blew out his back and got 3 concussions in a row. And they said, I'm done, Dad. I don't want to do this anymore. I said, okay. So he had to finish the season, not the season, but he had to finish the semester in school. So he got a job at one of those Halloween stores, like seasonal stores.
Oh yeah.
I said, put my theory to test. Put it to test. When you get hired there to go and work at the store, do a little bit more than you're asked, right? Don't complain. Just do a little bit more you ask and see what happens. He got promoted to manager within about 4 weeks. Then the next thing you know, the boss goes, why don't you come with me to the next store to open up for Christmas or whatever it is? And while everybody else was in the back smoking pot and doing all this bullshit and slacking off and not putting their time in like you're supposed to, he stood out. And that's what you have to do. A little bit more than you're asked and set your goals high and do that. And that's how I have achieved the things that I've achieved, is that who am I? Some freaking dude from Michigan who, I spend enough time with the Cowboys to get a drink of water, or I was in the military a little bit, but I go and stumble into acting. And who am I to like make a career out of it? Who am I? But I said, you know what? I'm going to freaking do this. I want to be Hollywood's new leading man. Didn't do that, but you know what? I didn't get the A, maybe the A+, but I got freaking an A or an A-. That's pretty darn good, right? Not saying that anything's better than anything. The same thing in business. I just started my own business the last year. You know, I doubled my income within a year.
Wow.
I was scared to excuse my language, shitless to start my own company. And
dude, you don't know how hard it is for me. I've always been a behind the scenes person. I hate being in front of the camera. I hate taking pictures. To come in and be in front of the camera with you has taken a lot of like psyching myself out, but I'm doing something good because the interviews I get, like with people like you, they come back and they stay communicating with me. And because I don't know what my wife says. She says it's something that you can't fake genuine, is what she
yeah,
says.
you're just a genuine dude. I know a lot of people have done podcasts for it. You're a smooth operator. By naturally, you're smooth. I'm just easy to talk to.
Well, I take that, very, I don't know how to take it. I can't even say because no, I enjoy talking to people like you, and that's what really gives me the strength to come in front of the camera to do it.
But everybody, I don't care what job you're doing. If you're working at the grocery store or gas station, be the best. If you're going to bag groceries, be the freaking best grocery bagger in the freaking store.
Yeah.
Do a little bit more than you're asked, because guess what happens? You do that, doors will open up like you will not believe. Doors will open up. They will. And that's how I've done the things that I've done. And I'm not done. We're going to make my wife's company here. It's called Inseam Saver. I'm going to pitch it right now. Bam. Nice. And so it's called Inseam Saver. You have clothes that shrink from the wash. Her product fixes it. Nothing else in the market like it. It's got 4 patents. And so we created a superhero around that, like the Fantastic Four. And she's called the Inseam Saver. She's going to fly around and fix people's clothes shrinkage. We're going to play off the word of shrinkage and all those things like that. It's going to be fun. But we're going to make this a household name. Set your freaking goals high. Yeah. Right? The same with my business, the same way. So set your goals high. No matter what you do that. And that's how I achieved what I did as in Hollywood as an actor. Yeah, I got told a lot of no's. In your business, you can get told a lot of no's.
Yeah.
But if you're genuine and you're a good dude to work with and you're caring, man, I'm telling you, and you do a little bit more than you're asked, that's what happens. So I'll tell you a quick, and another what part's important too, is that I told my younger son this, and that's why he's a coach at UNT now. So when I got out of the military, before I went to Eastern, I went home. My dad's in the Air Force. He's in like E8 or whatever, big hard charger, and Air Force guy. I got home. He goes, "Well, you're not going to sit around here before you go to Eastern. You need to go down to the hill there and ask that warehouse for a job." He goes, "How do you know they're hiring?" He goes, "I don't know. Just go there and ask them." Okay, so I get in my car. I drive down the hill. I walk in. I say, "Hey, you guys hiring?" He goes, "Nah, man, we're not hiring." "All right, thanks." Get in the car, drive back. I told him, and he goes, "All right." Next day, he goes, "Hey, go down there and ask him again." "Dad, I just went freaking down there." "Go down there and ask him again." Listen, I'm a former paratrooper in the Army in 82nd Airborne Division, right? So I'm thinking I have some clout I have done at the house. And so I get in the car, drive down, I walk in, I say, "Hey, so I know if you guys," he goes, "Dude, you just came here yesterday." I said, "I know, I'm just asking." "No, we're not hiring." "All right." So that's Friday, right? Weekend goes by, Monday comes, he goes, "Go down and ask him again." Now we get in a fight. We're talking screaming. No, like that. Just screaming. "I'm not going down there. You're going down there. If you want to stay in this house, you bring it," whatever. "Oh, right, son of a bitch." I get in the freaking car, drive down 90 miles an hour, go in the front door, go, "Hey." He goes, "What did I freaking tell you? We're not hiring." He goes, all of a sudden this guy comes out the back and goes, "Hey, Jim just quit. We need somebody." He turns around and looks at me and goes, "Well, there you go." So remember that story. Now listen to this. I get a call. So I get a call from my son who lives in Frisco, Texas,
Wow.
and he goes, "Hey, Dad, guess where I'm at?" And I go, he turns his phone around and goes, "You're in front of the Dallas Cowboys headquarters." He goes, "That's right. I'm gonna go. I have my resume and my tie on. I'm going and asking for a job. I want to be a wide receiver coach." Holy crap! He goes into the front desk and they're like, "You don't take that here, whatever." He ends up in this process of getting kicked out. He ends up meeting the wide receiver coach. They still talk today. And he got an offer to do a grad assistant at SMU, but his persistence of he was going to UNT to finish his degree. He would go and talk to the coaches. He was just going to start coaching, being the laundry guy and just doing laundry. And they gave him that job. And he goes in to sign a contract, and they go, the guy that was supposed to be the assistant running back coach just quit. You're now the assistant running back coach.
Wow.
So I live by this story all the time. When I first started acting, when I walked in one of my first auditions after Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the casting director goes, "Hey, do you have a day job?" I said, "Yeah, I work at this computer test laboratory. It's really cool, man." He goes, "You probably should keep that job." I'm like, and I didn't know what that meant until I walked out. I go, "Wait a minute, she just insulted me." And that pissed me off. And then that's when I started freaking hardcore studying to get better. And then they quit saying that. But that's what you have to do in life.
No,
Shoot
it's
for
true.
freaking A+. You have to shoot for the A+. Everybody listening has to shoot for the A+ in life.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree with you, and it's the truth. Because me going to you that convention, even though I didn't get to interview you that day, you giving me your number, a complete stranger who you did not know, and say, "Hit me up when I get back home," and I completely I thought I had lost your number at first, and I was remembering, and I was like, I think I left it in my phone. I think I put it in my phone, but let me double check. And then when I saw you again on the blue carpet, I was like, perfect opportunity. And I found it in my phone, and I'm like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? What are the odds?
I agree.
And like you said, unless you go and ask, you're not going to know the answer. Worst case, they tell you no, you just move on and move on to the next one and keep on doing that process.
I agree. Whenever I go do like a autograph signing, sometimes I get into those panels and things like that, and I end up talking about my life and how I got there, and I just tell people, man, you have this time you and I are having right now, we'll never get back. You'll never get back. Yeah, you can play this back, but our time actually we're sharing right now, we'll never get back.
Yeah.
And so every day you need to make the most of it. Every day you
Yeah.
should be doing something, even if you're digging ditches for a living, but you want to be like a opera singer. Every day you should be working on your opera, because eventually you ain't good enough to where you can move away from digging a ditch. But it's a means to an end. Sometimes you got to shovel shit to find the gold. So that's just what happens.
No.
It's not rocket science. It takes no talent to have effort.
No, it doesn't.
And
And hard work pays off.
that guys, when I used to coach football in California, I used to tell my kids that the streets are lined with incredibly fast, talented, big, strong, lazy athletes. Athletes.
That is true.
And I know so many of them that could have went to the highest level in playing sports in football and just lazy.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's a perfect example. He doesn't have the body, can't run, but you know what? He studies those films. Yeah, he studies those films over and over. He works with what he's got and learns how to work with it.
And now he's one of the best athletes, better than all these other guys. You can a lot faster, a lot more athletic, and all those things like that. He's known as one of the best to play the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's work with what you're given, train, and this is what I believe too, is that every day we learn something new, and I feel that's how it always should be. Never settle and continue learning and evolving, and it's just going to make you a better person at the end of the whole thing.
Yeah, I also think too that things that happen to you, for the most part, happen for a reason.
Yeah.
that you you know, like when Fantastic Four got shelved, right? Or
Yeah.
when I blew my knee out with, hurt my knee with the Cowboys. Um, the way I played right now, I probably have CTE because I know guys that I played ball with in college that are done dead.
Yeah.
Because I use my head, I would freaking hit you so hard with my freaking right there, you know, all that thing. So that's a blessing. And then when you go and then the whole thing with um, Fantastic Four getting shelved,
Yeah.
I tell people it was a blessing because think about it. Now this film has become this cult following, this cult underground thing. If it had gotten released, people said, "Yeah, it's a good little film for the budget." Then it went away, like the other ones at that time. But because now it's built up this thing, and now we get invited to 2025 Fantastic Four, and just all of these things happen for a reason, right? It got shelved, and it drove me or steered me into the direction as an actor, playing heavies and bad guys and monsters and things like that, which is fine. I had a great career. I have a nice pension out of it.
Yeah.
I've it's been good. Got a house built in California out of it, so I mean, not too bad. I
No,
did.
it's not.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
sold it, and then but anyway, it's all good stuff. But yeah,
Yeah. Like I said, man, Michael, thanks again for taking the time out of your busy night on a Monday when you could be
yes, sir.
doing other things to sit down and talk with me about your career and,
Thank you, sir.
you know, where you've gotten, where you're at.
Thank you.
This is always an honor to sit down with people like you.
Anytime,
And
anytime. You're a good man, sir, and I appreciate you finding my number and giving me a call.
yeah, like I said, you gave it to a complete stranger at a convention.
What? That was crazy. I should have never done that.
But
No,
thanks again, Michael. And where can people find you if they want to follow you on Instagram, like you mentioned? And
that's right. You can do it. Follow me on Facebook, but I already have my 5,000 friends. So I have like tons of people want to join, but I can't have anybody. Unless what I do is I go through, and if there's someone like their picture's gone, I delete them, or someone that's I haven't talked to in a long time. I just kind of refresh some of the friend thing. So that, and then on Instagram and on X, I'm getting involved with TikTok a little bit more. We're gonna do some crazy ads too with my wife's company.
cool.
So I'll just pitch you real quick one little quick ad. So there's this
Okay.
one ad we're gonna do. It's pretty funny. It's called I'm gonna leverage or lean on my my bad guyness, and it's gonna be me driving in it. So my wife's product, what it does, if you have clothes that shrink in the wash, using this product will return your clothes back to the original length. So it's remarkable. Jeans, shirts, doesn't matter. Nothing on the market like it. It's 4 patents. We just revamped the website. We're going to go out hard, heavy with ads and everything like that all over the place. And so I'm going to have this thing where I'm driving I have a little black sports car, and I'm going to drive it at nighttime, and the camera's going to be over here. I'm going to go, "Hey, this is Michael Bailey Smith. Yeah, I play bad guys in Hollywood for a living." And then it's going to show me walking down the alleyway. I'm going to go, "And when you're walking those mean streets at night, there's nothing worse than high waters." And it shows my pants, and they're like up like forest. I go, "I hate it." And all of a sudden it's going, "But I found this thing called the inseam saver." And it's going to show me holding the box and installing it on the door. And it goes, and then all of a sudden it's going to watch me. Then it's going to cut back to me. Now my pants look great. I'm going to walk down the alleyway as I'm stalking this guy. And now when I'm walking those main streets and it's time to take care of business, I snatch the guy, put him against the wall, pull back my fist, and I look down, I go, "You need this too." Inseam saver, fix your shrinkage and save a bundle. Anyway, so
Oh, nice.
we have some really funny stuff to have. Anyway, I know you gotta
Hey,
go. I gotta go.
that sells, man. I can tell you that.
It's gonna be
People,
fun. We're gonna have
yeah.
fun with it. We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna got shrinkage? No, not that kind of shrinkage. Clothes shrinkage. So that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Follow
you.
us. Yeah, follow him. Follow Michael. Follow us for more cool interviews
Oh,
with
Retro Ray. Yes, let's do it right now.
for more cool actors, writers, artists, everybody. Just follow us for more cool interviews. And we'll see you guys again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.